But really quick, before we go on to our last story, I just want to mention this is around Twitter Blue. So I think this is interesting because Twitter is moving towards a paid subscription, so that way users are paying to use it. And I actually think that this is awesome. So if they can get people paying to use Twitter, it's going to get rid of a lot of the spam and all the even like all the censorship stuff that's going on. If people have a real identity and it's tied to, they're paying for it, they don't want to lose their accounts. Plus, like they're a real person, they got like their credit card associated to their account. It's like $3 a month, $3.50 or something like that.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it unlocks some other features. We don't have to go through all the features. You guys can go check it out. I got the article open here, but just Google Twitter Blue and you'll see it. But one thing that was interesting actually for us, Andrew, is that I noticed that there's a feature there where you could see the top stories for everybody you follow. So we were trying to figure out a way to find trending stories and so on. And
that would be so cool.
This was the way. So what I actually ended up doing is I don't know if I should mention, but like I unfollowed a whole bunch of people on my Twitter so that way I can clean it up so I could use this. So I just did that on the web-friendly account. So now I paid for Twitter Blue. And I'm also curious to see if we're going to get more reach from Twitter Blue. So I'll report back on the show because I just did this yesterday. And I'm curious now to see if our reach is going to go up, which would be interesting. So yes, cool. $3.50 Canadian.
I see that
here. Some cool features, there's like a tip jar. People can like pay you tips and stuff like that, I guess. There's an undo button.
It's not an edit button. This is a great feature. This is a great move by Twitter, and I would totally sign up for this.
Okay, so I got a question for you here. Here's my thought. If Facebook, so I find Facebook now, I've got like 4,000 friends on Facebook. I open up Facebook. It's very toxic. A lot of people I don't even know just talking a bunch of random stuff, right? And I don't enjoy Facebook. Like I get on there, I'm like, I gotta get this off. Like I deleted the Facebook app off my phone for like 2 years, right? I just put it back on like a few months ago. I was off Facebook for a long time because I was like, it was just garbage, right? But I was thinking if they had a paid subscription, I would then know who's active and who wants to be there, right? And if I could sort my feed by my friends who are paying to be on Facebook, and I think the content would be way better. So I was thinking if they move to a paid service where there's no ads, right? Maybe you get a bit more flexibility. Maybe they'll call it less censorship or something like, I don't know, something like that. There could be other features they can include in it, right? But how much do you think people would pay? I feel like Facebook is a friend relationship system. You know, you have like a CRM, customer relationship system. I think Facebook is like a friend relationship system. So how much do you think that they could charge for Facebook? What would you pay?
This is a really great subject. So I'm already paying $15 a month Canadian for YouTube Premium. It looks like, and Twitter is now targeting $3.50 for Twitter Blue Canadian currency we're talking about here. I don't know. I'm like, I would probably consider like $10 a month. I'd like split the difference. Because I wouldn't spend $15 a month because I spend way less time on Facebook than I do on YouTube. YouTube Premium is easily worth $15 to me because I spend so much time on that platform. But Facebook, I'd say $7 to $10. I would be like, yeah, sign me up.
No problem. I was thinking I would pay like $20.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, 7 to 10 because most people wouldn't, like a personal, and also they could base it on your age, stuff like that, right? But then it could be like $20 for a business, and you could have a certain amount of pages on there. And like, imagine I could just pay to have one of my pages, and then it also kind of gives me a bit more reach. If they just said for $20 a month, we'll give you a little bit more reach. I'd be like, sure, I'll try it out.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that if Facebook moved to a paid model and then somehow addressed this idea of the algorithm, censorship, whatever, that sort of stuff. And if I could just sort my feed by people who paid for it, I feel like I would get better content. Like I think there's something there that if Facebook moved to a paid model, I think it would just transform Facebook. I think it would bring it back because right now Facebook is dying. Like Twitter died over the last few years. Twitter's really died, but now it's coming back for so many reasons, right? The Elon Musk thing, and it's been coming back, right? Like I think Trump is kind of what brought it back and people getting more active on there. So now I'm like back on Twitter. I'm like, it reminds me of what it was like back in 2009 where there was real conversations because there was a long time where people were it was just a bunch of bots and we're just spewing crap. all the time.
And there's still a lot of spams, lots of spammy stuff on there. Yeah, scams is what I meant to say actually. Scam.
Yeah,
like there's Twitter scams all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think it was like 2016-ish, 2015, like in that kind of time period where like Twitter was useless, you know? And now I think it's making a comeback, and I think the idea of Twitter Blue can really help. So I'm very interested. And then I saw when I signed up for Twitter Blue, I started noticing people doing these spaces, and you could actually get paid to host your own audio space.
Yeah.
So there were some things around it, like you had to host 3, and then you had to had a certain amount of people on it. It was something like that. There were some things, but then after some time, you can actually get paid to host an audio space. So I definitely want to do it because I think it would be interesting just to have a little mastermind around marketing. So if you guys listening want to do something like that, you know, go follow the Web Friendly Twitter account, because I'm definitely going to do that. So yeah, I just think this is really cool, and I'm hoping that more platforms will follow along, so that way they're less ad driven.
And it is, yes, 100%. And it's funny how you just said that you've got what you said, over 4,000 Facebook friends, and you've just noticed that the platform as a whole has become quite toxic. I'm not making this up. Before hitting the record today, making this episode with you, I responded to a Facebook post that I saw the person complaining about inflation, governments, businesses, the price of everything going up and stuff, and I commented, and it turned into a little bit of a back and forth, and then I did like one last comment, and I left the conversation because I could tell it was going to like a really unhealthy place, and I didn't want to put myself in like a negative headspace before hitting the record button with you here today, Matt. But it's unfortunate that there are so many people on Facebook that it has become a very toxic place. It just has, and that's unfortunate. And I try my very best to really cultivate what kind of content that I'm consuming and participating in, because I want to protect my mindset, right? I always think about that stuff, and I want to surround myself with positive people. That's one of the reasons why I like the idea of co-hosting the show with you. I find you to be a very positive guy there, Matt, and I want to surround myself with more positive people. And man, Facebook. I couldn't agree with you more. Facebook has turned into a really, really political and negative Nancy kind of place. It's really hard. It's just terrible. It's terrible. People just want to fight with each other all the time. They just want to complain and moan and whine, and it's like, who's got time for that?
But people are still using it, right? Like I do think that they need to go through a transformation, and it's definitely down right now in terms of, you know, people wanting it. And like Mark Zuckerberg has a horrible personal brand, and
yeah,
there's definitely something there. I think if they did paid accounts, I think that they could really transform it.
Yeah, agreed.